Power up fall projects with Ego at Lowe's. Every tool delivers power beyond belief. So whether it's leaves, limbs, or lawn cleanup, count on Ego to deliver the power, performance, and innovation you need. And now for a limited time, save up to $60 on select blowers, chainsaws, and pole saws. Shop Ego today at Lowe's. Offers valid through 10/1 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Faster than your morning coffee, this is the Joevelocity Show. Brought to you by Old Glory, who offers over 300,000 items for music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture fans. Featuring officially licensed merchandise from iconic bands and top sports teams. Discover your perfect fan gear and save 15% with the exclusive discount code Joevelocity at oldglory.com.
And welcome again to the Joevelocity Show. I'm Joe, and I am here with my mom, Sharon. Hi.
Hi, Joe.
How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I want to thank you very much, Sharon, for the recipe that you gave me there for the beef brisket.
Well, you're welcome. How did it turn out?
It turned out fantastic, even though you're a vegetarian.
Well, we don't use beef brisket in ours, but we use veggie burgers.
Veggie burgers.
But yeah, it's the same. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I put it on at 5 a.m. and now we're recording this at 4 p.m. And oh my goodness, it's like literally when I took it out of the crock pot and put it on the plate to cut it there, like literally there, you're supposed to cut it against the grain, but I inadvertently cut it with the grain. It was like literally like falling apart as I was trying to cut it.
Yeah, I'm sure for cooking it that long, it absolutely would be melting apart. So yeah. I bet it was really good. I remember those days when I ate beef brisket, but not anymore. But
yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I actually started recently eating beef again. So I kind of missed it, unfortunately. So it was kind of like one of those things there where, I mean, it's not like a constant thing where I constantly eat meat. Like, for example, yesterday I ate chicken. I will eat white meat, but, for a while there I was not eating red meat there. But I kind of just recently started getting back into the red meat thing there. And
well, I think if you eat something like a roast or, even like if you want to eat a pork chop or something like that, to eat, a piece of, even if you'd have a steak, it's not like a bunch of meats being ground together for a hamburger or something like that. If, that's just my take on it. I can never go back to eating red meat for myself, but I can see, if you just eat the portions where they can actually slice it off, in pieces rather than grind it all together, it would be better for you.
It's kind of like they're going to be kind of worth it there to have like a big T-bone steak on the grill as opposed to, like a hamburger. Yeah, I completely understand. The thing I can't figure out though is that when people who aren't vegetarians ask vegetarians to make them.
I know where you're going with this. You know what? We'll talk a little bit about this a little later, I think. But,
because I'll be throwing my sister under the bus if I do this here, so I'm not going to do it.
No. And it was all good. We wouldn't have done it if we didn't want to do it. So,
but seriously, it's kind of it's like if you're vegetarians, I'm fine eating your tofurkey. You know what? And it's kind of funny because anytime I mention that to anybody, I get all kinds of shit about it.
Right. Well, as long as you like it, if you didn't like it, I'd try to make you something else that you enjoyed.
But thankfully, I like most foods, so
good.
As long as it's not gnocchis or baked beans, I'm good. But anywho, I tell you what, let's go ahead and we'll get into these stories here and we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead here and get this started. Okay, so first story here. Am I the asshole for snapping at my husband that he needs to get over his ADHD quirk? I really try to understand my husband's ADHD quirks and sensitivities, but this one made me snap. Apparently, I blinked my eyes too loudly. It annoys him so badly that he's raised his voice telling me to stop and will storm out of the room if we're laying in bed watching a movie or trying to sleep. He says I don't do it all the time, but he cannot handle the noise of my blinking most nights. I finally snapped at him last night after he told me to stop doing it, saying something along the lines of, "You need to get over it or take responsibility of your ADHD and stop thinking this is normal." For context, he's been to therapy and has been on medication for ADHD, but has since quit because he doesn't like it. So am I the asshole for snapping at him? And she goes on to edit this here. I really appreciate everybody's comments. I had my husband read over them as well, and he agrees that taking his frustration out on me was not okay. While he hasn't raised the concern until recently, our best guess is this is a traumatic birth back in June is likely causing a ton of stress and making it worse. We did test that out, and you can certainly hear me blinking or some sound that aligns with the timing, even if his eyes are closed or I'm turned away. I agree with the folks saying likely it's misophonia and not an ADHD symptom. He says it's like wet glass clinking sound similar to other people's in the comments. He has apologized and agreed to go back to therapy, see his doctor for a potential diagnosis, full psych evaluation, and try earplugs. It could also be brought on by suddenly stopping his medication, so he's going to speak with his doctor about that as well. In the meantime, he's agreed to sleep on the couch if he can't cope and not even bring up the blinking to me. Fingers crossed that his last. Thanks everybody again. This is interesting. What's your thoughts?
I've never heard of this, but I guess there are people out there that who can hear this. Hear someone blinking. If she's sleeping, I don't know how he's hearing her blinking. But yeah, that's what I say. I'd buy him some earplugs and
right.
get on with her life. Get herself some eye drops and then use them pretty often, I guess too.
Right.
Like I said, I've never heard of this, so
I've never heard a single person blink in my whole entire life.
I can't say I have either. I mean, maybe if your eyes are, you have a cold in your eye or something, and they're sticky or something, that's a different thing. But I'm either I can't hear that well, or I just never heard this to be a thing. But I guess it is, and if it is a thing for him, that's something that he needs to take care of.
The only thing I can think of, like, remember like Ren and Stimpy and SpongeBob SquarePants? Same animators. It's kind of like if you have the close up and it's like, it's like, something like that. That's the only time I could think that we could possibly hear that. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think really that's an issue with most people. I think he's the problem, to be honest with you there.
Right. I do think, I mean, if he has ways that he can correct this for himself, probably being on his medicine would be a good, solution to this. But I feel bad he's sleeping on the couch because that's probably not good for him either.
It's not good for the relationship as a whole either. Yeah. It's not going to help matters out.
Right.
But anyways, here with the comments, they went on to say, maybe it depends on how dry your eyes are. I sometimes hear myself blinking, but not all the time. I don't know what's wrong with these people in the comments. It's like they got some squeaky eyes,
Yeah.
Either way, it's not your fault. It's possibly a sign that he's overstimulated and hypersensitive to sound, and his reaction is poor emotional regulation. Sit down with him and say, I know the noise bothers you, but I'm incapable of stopping it. If I stop blinking, my eyes would dry out and get damaged. So you need to sit with the feeling, realize it's bothering you, and remove yourself from the situation until you can regulate. If that's not possible, if you're not able to regulate, then maybe you need to adjust your medication.
That's the only thing I could associate this with, is someone chewing and
I agree with you
or over chewing or something like that. And, it gets annoying, but, I certainly wouldn't, unless it was my spouse or someone in my family, I wouldn't be telling them to stop chewing.
Do I annoy you whenever I chew?
No.
Okay,
no.
Because I had an ex of mine say that to me one time. That, it's like, keep your mouth closed whenever you chew. And so
you should do that.
Yeah, and I do that now, but it's kind of like, maybe I wasn't paying attention back then, but it's just kind of like, apparently I was smacking my lips and everything there, and it's like, stop it,
Well, yes, that's just good manners, and I thought I had taught you better, but no. You go on your own, and what can I do? It's like you're gone. But yeah, but that's the only thing I could associate this with was something like that.
Yeah, and that actually, the second commenter brings up a good point there. My daughter has misophonia. For her, it's my breathing and general noises of my mouth. Car rides are brutal since we sit so close. Just the diagnosis helped because she had a name. As time passed, I realized the anxiety and stress made it worse. Other triggers are doing the dishes. To the stage, she either leaves the house and goes outside when I'm washing the dishes, or she will do the dishes because she's controlling the noise and it doesn't bother her then. The key factor of the misophonia is that it involves a visceral response that is irrational. If she's normally a calm person, you might want to look into it. I was going to say for a second here, before I actually read that one sentence there about her doing the dishes, is that she's being smart by leaving whenever she does the dishes, because then that she doesn't have to do the dishes. But I can also understand that if she's doing the dishes, causing the noise.
You can control it. At least, there seems to be some understanding going on there with the problem. And maybe he's just been misdiagnosed and has, once he gets the real diagnosis, it would be better for him. And then it is something, like she said, you have a name to it. You can, you know how to control it then. So, yeah.
And the third one is so me. Thanks for reminding me. I've been happily ignoring the sound of my blinking for several hours. And also now I'm aware I can see my nose and I'm breathing manually. God damn this meat suit. It's kind of like one of those people, it's kind of like the story here is probably made you think about your blinking.
Yeah.
And your breathing. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to stop blinking so loud.
All right.
Yes.
Anyways, let's go on.
I'm sure this is going to be a topic that would carry on for some time.
We'll talk about this next Tuesday whenever I come up to Greensburg and see you. Anyways, let's go on.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and move on to the second story here. Am I the asshole for not wanting my daughter's party turned into a pregnancy announcement? Some context, my brother-in-law, 30 male, has lived with my husband and I on and off for close to 8 years. Even when my husband and I had kids, he lived with us. Last year, he got serious about finding a serious relationship. I was happy for him when he found someone in November. He moved into her house in December. In April, they found out that the brother-in-law's girlfriend is pregnant. She's due in January. She told her family right away and left it up to the brother-in-law to tell his. He chose to be a coward and say nothing. Well, tomorrow is my daughter's turning 2, and brother-in-law has decided that is when he'll tell everyone. Mostly because when they show up, his girlfriend is very obviously pregnant. I'm kind of livid. Father-in-law is known to fly off the handle for things. Our son ate a goldfish cracker off the floor, and father-in-law had a fit about how disgusting it was, made a scene, and stormed out to get together. He's also told my husband that he needs to watch himself because apparently I'm not the right kind of woman. Back to the party. I don't want this announcement to happen because the father-in-law flies off the handle. My daughter's party is ruined. Even if he doesn't, it's suddenly going to be a pregnancy gender reveal, and no one's going to remember why they're actually there. I know my daughter won't remember it, but I will. My husband thinks it's not a big deal, and he's excited. I've tried to communicate my anxiety about it, but he says his dad will be fine. I told him the only way this is happening is if his brother goes to their parents' house well before the party and tells them. Otherwise, I'll be kicking people out. He scoffed but said, okay. Now I'm really just conflicted. Am I the asshole?
Not at all. Not at all. Her daughter will only turn 2 once in her life. And that's a big moment. And it should be, the focus should be on her. The brother-in-law and his wife, they can have many occasions to announce a baby's birth and things like that. I totally agree with her. This should be her daughter's day and nothing else. And you certainly don't need, I don't know why the father-in-law is so into this.
Yeah.
These two,
Why he flies off the handle so much.
Yeah, so easily. I mean, eating a cracker off the floor, my heavens,
God damn you. Get out.
Yeah, get out. I'm leaving. Can't handle that. But no, her daughter deserves her birthday, period.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think the commenters agree with us there is that Unfortunately, your brother-in-law is a coward. Tell your brother-in-law that he has two choices. He either tells his family ahead of time or you do.
True.
So the other one kind of builds upon that there. Not the outside. Tell the brother-in-law is going to be too cowardish to say something. You can always beat him to the punch and spill the beans for him. Would it be a dick move? Yeah. But also they shouldn't be co-opting your kid's birthday party to announce a pregnancy. Yep, I know it's only 2 days away, but if the father-in-law finds out now, he can fly off the handle now and have 2 days to calm down. So really, I think it's all about the father-in-law being the issue here, really.
Right. He's the bigger problem. Maybe not invite the father-in-law.
I completely, utterly agree there. Yeah, just leave him out of things there because
leave him out of everything.
Apparently he can't handle himself there,
Right.
Just wants to go off the handle for any slight imperception,
Right.
Some first world problem. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, Anyways, the third one also said there, tell the father-in-law immediately your cowardly brother-in-law wants to ruin your daughter's birthday party and to protect himself from an angry father-in-law. Think about it. He's willing to sacrifice her day to keep from bearing the consequences of his own actions. You consider not inviting them to the party. Prioritize your daughter and your peace of mind over this low-life coward. So what they're saying here is not to invite the brother-in-law.
Right. But you have to remember the brother-in-law is also the son of the father-in-law. So, you have to be very careful why you say this, because if he's not too fond of his daughter-in-law and she's, making a deal out of this, then maybe he won't take that too well either. So
oh yeah,
I think
that's
she's
right.
doomed either way.
That's right, because didn't he say that I'm not that right kind of woman?
Right. So I think she needs her husband to handle this with his father and his brother.
I think the father-in-law needs to talking to him and be like, you know what, this is my wife, whether you like it or not, and you either need to like it or get the hell out of here, so, because really, it's just kind of like, it just seems like he's free to have his own problems there, but not have any ramifications, from having those thoughts and everything there, and just basically make everybody else's life hell just to satisfy him.
Right. But don't have that talk before the birthday party.
Yeah, otherwise it's turned into a big mess, won't it?
Yeah.
So, anyways, believe it or not, we are halfway through the show. We're going to go ahead and take a break.
Break time.
Yep, and we'll be right back with more of the Joevelocity Show after this.
You could listen to a station that plays the same 6 songs on repeat. Or you could try Joevelocity FM, the home of rock, pop, alternative, and new wave, curated by someone who doesn't hate you. No talk radio, no wacky morning crew, just non-stop music and unapologetic attitude. We're Joevelocity FM, always in motion, like your caffeine withdrawal, but way more fun. Click, stream, regret nothing. JoeVelocityFM.com.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
If ensuring speed and security for your sites is really a top priority for you, then search no further than Voxonix's shared website hosting plans. They use SSD-powered servers and provide numerous site acceleration tools that make your websites load noticeably faster. Additionally, they deploy ZFS data storage to shield your website contents from corruption. Also, they will manage the task of migrating all the websites you need to their system, absolutely free of cost. Get started now by going to Voxonix.com. That's VOXONX.com.
And welcome back to the Joevelocity Show.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Mom. Anyways, yeah, we're twinsies now, actually. I got new glasses, actually. And they kind of look like yours. They're kind of like the The frame at the top is like black. They're kind of like half room, I guess. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
So they're like kind of like just nothing on the bottom door.
Clear on the bottom. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like yours. And I figured, yeah, I kind of took your inspiration and got the same kind as well there. Because I used to have these kind of glasses before. And I really like them. I'll tell you what. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and here continue on with the third story. Am I the asshole for accepting an $800 reward for a lost cat? Last week, a lost cat flyer was placed in my mailbox with a plea for help finding their precious family pet, with an $800 reward for information or return. Well, as luck would have it, a few days later, while I was walking home, I saw the very same cat scrounging for food out of a garbage can, and the caller confirmed it was the cat. I took it home, gave it some food, and called the owner's phone number. Of course, the family was ecstatic. They picked up the cat the same day. They thanked me, hugged me, cried, then asked for my information and sent me the $800, though in retrospect, they were hesitant to do that last part. Normally, I wouldn't accept the money. It's been happy to have to make my family happy, but honestly, I've been struggling lately more than usual, and $800 is an amount that would help me a ton, so I accepted it there. Anyways, I was telling some friends about this, and they all got kind of weird when I mentioned the money exchange. Most of them agreed they wouldn't accept the money, and that it's kind of in bad taste to take the money for a good deed. They pointed out that since they also live in my neighborhood, they certainly aren't wealthy. I feel kind of sick thinking about how I benefited from their misfortune. Am I overthinking it? Am I the asshole? I know they did offer the reward, but is it tacky or rude to accept it?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. The purpose of the reward was for its safe return, and he certainly did that. And no, they should not have offered so much if they weren't willing or able to pay that much.
Right.
I mean, the next time they lose their cat, just offer $50 to $100 maybe, and then at that amount maybe you would be more reserved and not take the finder's fee basically. And it would be easier to refuse, but $800, that's a lot of money for anybody. Right. So I don't really blame him, particularly if he was struggling. Maybe he could have said, make it 6 or, he could have, or make it 4 or something, but
I'll give him a break somehow. Yeah.
They offered $800. So I don't think if you're not willing to pay it once you get your cat back, I don't think, I think they would have been really the a-hole for that.
We were joking. It's not $800. It's $80. It kind of reminds me of that whole entire contest they had at Hooters where they were offering like the waitresses a free Toyota whenever they, like whoever like sold the most something or whatever, based on the contest they had. And this woman fought and, she won the contest. Instead of a Toyota car, like she was thinking that she doesn't get, she got a toy Yoda, like a Yoda doll.
I remember that. That in the news.
She ended up suing.
Did she?
Yeah. And she got her Toyota plus some, so. But yeah, I would really think here that if you're offering $800, you can pony up that amount there, but it's also too, it's the family pet is that important to you as well.
Right.
So I think it's probably money well spent, and if it wasn't spent there, it'd be spent somewhere else,
Right. I mean, it was a lot of money to offer to begin with, I think. I mean, your pets are priceless. Let's just say that. And so, maybe there were other reasons they were offering that much money, but I've never actually seen that much on a poster for a cat or a dog or, unless they're maybe a full bred something, but yeah.
I was actually thinking about something here. Whenever my partner and I first got our cat, Daniel, he was a big Maine Coon cat. He was skinny. They didn't even know he's a Maine Coon at that point. They're just a long hair, domestic cat as far as they knew, gray. But he had a stuff up nose, so he wasn't eating his food apparently.
Oh.
And he went like 2 or 3 days after we got him without eating his food. And we're like, we have to take him to the vet. Well, anyways, $300 later, we got his nose unstuffed, and he hasn't stopped eating since then. And he became a nice big cat all of a sudden,
True.
But, it was kind of like, it was kind of like not something that we wanted to spend in the beginning there, but it was well worth it.
Well, if you have a dog or
Yeah.
a cat, I mean, you have to like start setting aside a little fund just for them
Right.
because anytime you take them to a vet, it's going to be expensive.
Because they are literally members of your family as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, probably when they first lost the cat, this wasn't outrageous for them. They would probably pay double that, to get it
Right.
back. But once you get it back, you're like, oh, okay, like it was only gone a day. Is it worth 800? I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but like I said, if they weren't willing to pay it, they shouldn't have offered that much money.
Well, the commenters, I think, kind of hit on an important point there that the first commenter said the reward is likely what made you subconsciously or consciously remember that cat and then be
Sure.
inclined to go check its collar when you found it. The reward worked. You're not an asshole at all. And then the second commenter said, yeah, most rewards work because people remember them and put two and two together when they see the animal, especially when it's like a common tabby cat or something. I see a ton of them around and don't think twice about, oh, a cat, $800. I'm taking a second look at every cat that resembles the picture or description.
True.
So really, in a sense, I think they were trying to incentivize people looking for this cat.
Right.
And,
right.
$800 is $800, that's a lot of money. But also, too, somebody else brought up an important point there where it said, not money related, but that's why Amber Alerts and Silver Alerts are so helpful. The point is not for everyone to be looking for a car or person 100% of the time, but if people get a notification and spend the next couple of minutes looking around their immediate space, that covers a lot of ground very quickly, then an individual or police department can't reach as effectively.
That's a very, very good point,
Yeah.
on both like a lost animal or a person. So yeah,
Right.
it's a good way to end that one.
Believe it or not, we come up to the last story of the show, our moment of conclusion. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to help with our flights home for a funeral? My girlfriend and I live across the country from our family, and someone passed last weekend. I'm taking time off work and going with her even though it's a massive financial strain because she wants me there to support her. Her parents have sent her money to pay for the flights, and she's insisting that the money is 100% hers. I have to pay my own way. When I told her that the money sent covers her flights plus $100, she told me that she was going to send the $100 back to her parents instead of giving it to me to help my expenses a bit. I feel like I'm entitled to half the money. I'm already taking 4 days off work and paying $500 for this trip, while hers effectively fully paid for. I feel because we're both going that money is for us to use, not her. If she wants me there so bad, why can't she help me out financially a little bit where it wouldn't actually cost a penny out of her pocket? Am I the asshole for feeling some sense of entitlement to that help out money from her parents? Because I feel selfish of her to keep it all to the point it makes me not want to be there to support her. I'm doing a big thing for her, giving up a lot to give emotional support. If she can't even help me out with $100 that's not her own money, feels very selfish on her part. Doesn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. It does. And I'd say no, she definitely should help out. And since she got the money sent to her, go ahead and help him out with his flight and, do that. Otherwise, I think I would excuse myself from going and just send a basket of flowers to the family and, in his name,
Right?
not even hers. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically, it's kind of like, what? If she wants him to be there so badly, I think there needs to come some type of compromise here that, hey, at least give me the $100. That's all I was really asking for.
Right. I mean, he took off 4 days of
Yeah.
work. So once they get to, her parents' house, they're probably not going to eat every meal at her mother's house.
Yeah.
They're probably going out to dinner or meet some friends, old friends or something, and going to lunches and things. So, I mean, I know like 2-3 days of this can be taken up with the funeral, but after
Right.
that, or even some evenings,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get together with other people. So it's not just $500 out of his pocket. It's probably a lot more because he probably pays for, dinners out and things like that. Unless,
Yeah.
unless that's what you did with the money, save it and use it for that.
I personally think it's very selfish of her, be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is 100% mine. I'm paying for my trip and sending the $100 back to my parents.
Right.
Unless
because
they're,
I'm sure she wouldn't probably put up with it if if the rules were reversed.
Exactly. So the commenters, I think, agree 100% with us. They're not the asshole. Her parents sent her the money to cover airfare. Did they know that you were coming along? She's rather selfish to expect you to accompany her, yet she's not willing to help you out. Now you see who she is. You should just stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, it's bad enough that somebody passed away. Now it's kind of threatening the relationship there too. But, she's bringing it upon herself, unfortunately. Second comment said she wants you there for support. Her family sent money for both of your tickets, and she wants the money for herself. It's simple. Tell her you won't be going and you won't support her. Then when she's going to think about the relationship, because this is a big red flag. So in the third one, finally says, look, married couples or long-term committed couples would have a different set of expectations. So I guess it depends on how long you've been together. Long enough that the extended family considers you a unit. If not, then your obligation is minimal here. If you can afford it and want to, then go. Otherwise, don't. If she wants you there, she will offer money to help you get there. I'm shocked you only want $100. I argue she wants you there. You guys aren't married, engaged, long-term committed. Then I argue she needs to help you out with like the half of the ticket at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, basically, it's kind of like, yeah, she needs to adjust her priorities there, because if she wants him there, like she does.
And they don't say who the family member was, but it wasn't one of her parents, unless it was, maybe a brother or sister or something like that. That's a little different too. But, if it's a uncle or a cousin or something, how much support do you need? If it's not, someone super, super close to you.
It just seems like a lot of these issues that we ever encountered talking about on these shows would be solved that people would actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
Figure out why, like for example, in this case here, why you're not willing to split the cost.
Right.
Why you think all this money is yours.
And there's a lot of gaps in this story. How long have they been together? And, has he met the family, her parents and things like that already, or at least talk to them on the phone, or maybe they've gone to see them. But either way, if the money was meant for both of them to share to, get their tickets, he certainly deserves his portion of that.
Yeah. Best thing is ask the parents, was this all for her, or was this for both of us?
Yeah.
And I think that would solve the problem right there, because if the parents say it's for both of us, then at that point.
Well, if he doesn't go.
Yeah.
And if she's honest for the reason he doesn't go, with her parents, her parents can tell her what, a little asshole she was because she didn't share the money with him. That's what it was for, so.
So anyways, that brings us up to the end of the show. And I want to thank you very much, Mom, for being on the show today.
You're welcome, Joe.
Aw, thank you. Anyways, thank you for checking out the Joevelocity Show. Make sure to subscribe to this show in your favorite podcast app to listen on demand, and so that you don't miss an episode. And for access to our websites, visit us at Joevelocity.com. Thanks for listening, and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.